Hello, Christmas lovers. We're just 8 weeks away from Christmas, and everyone is busy creating magical decorations and stunning Christmas villages for themselves and their loved ones. In the previous episode, we designed the bridge, shaped the columns, added all the brick details, and prepared the rail track road. Now, it's time to move on to the exciting part: painting, detailing, and assembling everything together to transform these pieces into a magical Christmas village train bridge. At the same time, we'll also connect the bridge to the mountain on the right side of the village. By the end of this video, you'll get a clear view of how the project looks so far, and it's really starting to come to life. Before we start painting, there's one important step. We need to apply a thin layer of putty over all the thermocol parts. This will smooth out the surface and make the paint look much more realistic later. Once you've applied the putty, take a wet cloth and gently wipe off any excess, leaving just a thin, even layer. This step will give your bridge a clean, professional finish, perfect for painting. After the putty has completely dried on the thermocol, it's time for the first layer of paint. We'll start with the natural gray color as the base. If the paint feels too thick, just add a little water to make it thinner. This way the paint will flow smoothly and reach all the carved details and curved areas without any problems, giving you perfect coverage and a clean, even finish. Once the gray base coat is completely dry, it's time to add color to the bricks. For this step, we'll be using 4 different shades, applied randomly to create a realistic and natural look. The colors are raw sienna, cold or blue-gray, red oxide, and finally, we'll mix a bit of white with natural gray to make a light gray tone. By combining these colors randomly, you'll create beautiful variations that make the brick texture stand out and look truly authentic. And don't forget, we're building a Christmas village, so let your imagination run free and choose the colors that inspire you the most. After all, it's your village, your magic. The next step is to blend all the brick colors together. To do this, we'll use the dry brush technique with a light gray color. This will help even out the tones and give all the bricks a more natural, unified look. Make sure your brush has very little paint on it, just enough to lightly pass over the surface. This way, you'll highlight the textures without covering the beautiful colors underneath. After finishing the dry brush, it's time for the black wash. Mix a small amount of black paint with a lot of water, about 1 part paint to 9 parts water. This very thin mixture will flow into all the small details and textures, creating depth and shadows. Apply it over all the thermocol parts and then let it dry completely. This step will make every detail stand out and give your bridge a more realistic, aged look. After the black wash is dry, there's one final touch: a dry brush with white paint. Using a small brush, apply the white color very gently over all the thermocol pieces. This step will highlight the edges and details, bringing out the texture and giving your bridge a beautiful frosty look, perfect for a Christmas village scene. Now let me share a few small tips to make your life a lot easier. When working on the train track, first connect the rails according to your bridge layout and place them on the foam board to mark the railroad path. Make sure to keep the proper clearance on both sides of the rails, depending on the type and scale of your train. This will ensure your train runs smoothly without touching the bridge walls or parapets. Now let's take a look at the transformation of the tunnel area on the right side of the bridge. The most important part here is the alignment and connection point between the bridge rails and the tunnel continuation rails. Make sure the levels match perfectly and the rails connect smoothly. This will keep your train running seamlessly across the bridge and straight into the tunnel. Continue using the same technique for the mountain area. Use paper to shape the mountain slopes, filling any gaps and creating natural-looking ups and downs for a realistic landscape. At the back of the bridge, you can already see the waterfalls taking shape. They're not fully ready yet, as the water effects are still drying, but the scene is really starting to come together beautifully. We'll continue following the same process for this area. Apply plaster tape and a thin layer of putty or plaster to create small bumps and natural textures on the mountain surface. Once it's dry, move on to painting. Start with a natural gray base, then add soft touches of yellow oxide and burnt umber. Blend everything with a bit of raw umber for a realistic rocky tone. Next, apply a black wash to bring out the depth, and finish with a dry brush using light gray and white to highlight all the details. And now you can see the current progress of my project. There's still a lot of work to do, but I'm really happy with how everything is coming together so far. The bridge, the mountain, and the whole layout are finally starting to take shape. In the next episode, we'll begin the first part of the village creation, where the real Christmas magic starts to appear. Lights, houses, and all those cozy little details that make the scene come alive. This project has been a lot of fun so far, from designing and building the bridge, shaping the landscape, to adding all the colors and textures. Every step brings me closer to the final dream of a complete Christmas village full of life and wonder. If you've enjoyed watching this build, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with other Christmas village lovers. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode where the village begins.